Enjoying all that Toxic Radio has to offer? Well, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be the first to find out about ticket giveaways, amazing guests, awesome contests, and Toxic Radio events. Just search Toxic Radio Live, all one word, and press that little button. Every time you do, someone here at Toxic Radio will get their wings.
Yay!
Well, not really.
Aww.
But we will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummies. But then again, that just might be the beer. Anyway, like and follow us, and we will see you out there on the interwebs.
Planning your Saturday night can be a bit of a bitch. How about we make rock, not war? Load up Toxic Radio every Saturday night for the heavy metal happy hour with the one and only Fishman.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
There will be interviews, ticket giveaways, a little bit of banter with Toxic Mike, and of course great metal from the 80s all the way through today. Starts at 7 p.m., runs until Fish says it's over.
Get out.
Catch it only on Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic. Once every generation, there comes an event that alters how we perceive our world. That changes our expectations of what is possible. This is not really one of those events. But hey, Toxic Radio has a brand new studio, and that fucking rocks. So join us in celebrating our excellent new home. Toxic Radio. Awesomer than ever before. What? That is so a word.
Welcome to week 23. Michael Jordan, GOAT, Wire to Wire.
GOAT.
I'm the host, Gene Walzak, and to my right, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Uncle Shally.
Uncle Shally.
That's all you're getting anymore.
Fun.
Your scholastic hasn't been so scholastic recently.
They're not playing.
To my left, I have Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, Homer Simpson. Cottrell Simpson. College Cottrell. I should take college away from him, too, because he's not been very college recently. I'm kidding. We got an action-packed show for you today. We're starting off with the shortstop list. We'll have that, MLB. That's one of the best lists in all. I think it might be second. Outfield list is going to be amazing next week. We are going to break down the entire bracket. We're going to help you pick your bracket. We got you. Wire to Wire's got you. And then we're going to go over our GOAT bracket. But this is a March Madness show. This is NCAA action-packed. If you have an office pool, if you have a bracket, let's go. We're going to get started. So as we go into the shortstop list, because MLB's list has been incredible so far. This list, I feel like I love how we don't know where people are going to be at, but I feel like we're going to have different ones, different twos, different threes. It's not going to be, your consensus one. Maybe it will be. We'll see. I'm just going by from MLB's list. I'm nowhere near theirs. Might as well get started there. How you feeling tonight, Bill?
I'm good. Ready to go.
How about you, Cottrell?
This is my favorite time of the year for me. So
This is like everything, right?
Yep.
College basketball, March Madness. We got NBA. We got MLB starting. We got basketball, NBA. Sixers winning tonight. Let's go. Finish strong.
Bucks suck.
Good. Giannis is Uncle Shally for the win. Travis on the wire line. First comment checking in. All right, so let's get started on the shortstop list. When I went through the shortstop list, I am very, very certain that my list will be a lot different than Shally's. I don't know about Cottrell's. We've kind of had our little debates over shortstops over the last few weeks. I know next week I'm going to get hammered. I get it. I'm ready. So let's start it off. Number 10. Who do you have? We'll start with Cottrell this week.
My number 10 is Carlos Correa with the Astros.
You got him low.
This is
yeah.
I mean, you've seen the trend has been we hate on the Astros with Correa. I mean,
What a start to the show.
He could be higher, but
He was the one that actually went up last year, though.
yeah, but he was the one that went up, but everybody else was down. So I mean, it was like somebody had to go up. I mean, once everybody else gets up, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not big on.
What a way to
the
start the
Astros.
show. He started
I
with
just
number.
don't know if you can say
I
there's 9 better
almost fought
shortstops
with-
than Correa.
I almost
struggle
fought with
that.
putting Correa higher. Who's your 10?
I have Javi at 10, Bias.
It's like one of those you sneak him in. He had a really bad year. You hope
He really
has a
bad
better
year
one.
offensively. That lineup, I mean, they keep losing pieces. I think he'll bounce back a little bit. He just strictly has to be on the list because he's
Javi Bias.
Javi Baez, and
Yeah.
he probably makes 10 to 15 plays a year that even the rest of the guys on this list that are amazing don't make.
I have Javi Baez 10 too, and I think I did it for the same reason you did.
I just
It was
couldn't
like
leave
I
him
have,
off.
yeah, correct. I have to have him on the list. Cottrell probably has him like number 3.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Cottrell might have him 15th after that. If he's got Correa at 10th.
Correa's 10. Who's your 9, Cottrell?
My 9 is Bo Bichette.
Okay, Baby Bo. I like it. And your 9 is?
I have Bichette at 9 as
So
well.
you guys both have Baby Bo. So Peterman on the wire line already checking in saying
See, not
that
even on his
Correa's
list.
not even on his list.
See, we got the same.
Petey,
We're here.
you have to
We're
put your
here.
list up this week. We can't just go another week without the PD list. My number 9 is Tim Anderson.
That's just ridiculous. There's just no way he's not a top 10 shortstop in the major leagues.
I agree.
That's
My number 9 is Tim Anderson, little sleeper guy. I know you guys are on him too, but a lot of people don't know who he is. White Sox, very good player. That's my number 9. Who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Javi Baez for all the reasons you guys said. I mean, he's great defensively, so what he doesn't bring to the plate, he brings it back into the field and then some. Hopefully, well, not necessarily hopefully because I'm not a Cubs fan, but, for their sake, hopefully they play a little bit better this year and he can get the recognition that that we've seen him get in the past.
They won't. They'll be third in that division.
tough division.
Kidding, but Baez is a top 10 shortstop, so I agree with you there.
I have Anderson 8th.
Yeah.
I think
It's fair.
I think he's insanely underrated. Won a batting title. Very solid defensively. Has decent pop for a little guy. Hits 20-25 home runs a year. He's very good. He's been a very good player on a very bad team for the last couple of years. That team is going to be very good this year. And he hits leadoff. I mean, so it's.
I think the one thing that we really need to stop doing for just list, because I've already seen us done it 3 times. Everyone's done it. Is we have to stop saying they're very good defensively. They're shortstops. They're very good defensively. There's nobody on this list that's bad defensively.
No, but there's people you could argue would put on strictly for offensive reasons and leave off
because
defensively.
I could have put Didi at 10, and it's not going to be like he's a great defensive.
Didi's nowhere near in the same category as some of these guys defensively.
That's fair.
Defense is
they're all defensive.
Defense, other than
Some
outfield,
of them are on other levels, though.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
It's
That's fair.
like you got Javi Baez, and then you got some other guys on the list.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely some other guys.
defense definitely has to factor into shortstop list.
My 8's Baby Bo. I love the Baby Bo Bichette, by the way. I love I love how we're watching the children of the players that we watched when we were growing up.
That team's
I think
got
that's super cool.
That team has 3 of them. Which
Vlad,
is, wow.
Vlad, Baby Bo, and who am I missing?
Biggio.
But yeah.
Biggio, little baby Biggio.
Yep. It's crazy.
Man, but that's fun though. Like that's.
No, I love it. I agree with you. I'm just saying
and
it's
none of
crazy
them
they
are
have
like
3.
their dad. Biggio's the closest, I guess,
Yeah.
but none of them are. Like I don't see Vlad Guerrero Jr. swinging at balls that are like on the ground. Like
No.
Vlad Guerrero Sr. was fun to watch.
Yeah,
It's
he
funny.
Like I remember he hit a ball out of the ballpark that bounced off the
Yeah,
ground.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Guerrero and Bichette are probably the opposites of the fathers.
Correct.
Actually, which is
Yes.
funny. I mean, Bichette was a huge juicer, so I mean, I don't.
Who's your 7?
My 7 is a guy that you both have mentioned already, Tim Anderson. He's
You
one of
have
my
him higher than we
He's
do.
one of my favorite
7.
players in the MLB. I like everything that he brings to the game. Like he's just fun. Like he has fun playing baseball. And I think that this is going to be a really good year from him, and we're going to see that him get that recognition because the White Sox are going to be so much better this year.
I agree. I think he will get more recognition. I think he could finish 7th on this list at the end of the year. So that's not. I don't hate on projections, and I'm setting myself up. I'm setting myself up for next week, guys. I don't hate on projections.
I just don't. Just whatever.
Who's your 7?
So wait, so like if you had to start a team, you would pick Anderson over Carlos Correa.
No, but for 1 year you might.
Well, for this year. So if you had to start a team this year, you'd pick Anderson over Carlos Correa.
I mean,
The
like I
answer should
said,
be no.
it's my wait. First off, it's my list, and like I said, Tim Anderson is one of my favorite players in the MLB. So if I do have a little bias, I mean, it is what it is.
I get
but
it, I get
Tim
it.
Anderson is my guy.
I have Correa at 7.
So do I. I have Correa at 7 too. Give me a breakdown of why Correa is 7, Bill. More talented.
The
He's
biggest,
better.
Yeah,
he's
and
more.
he cheats. He's a cheater. You
his-
guys
his-
like cheaters.
His number went up. You like a flopper, so it doesn't matter. You can't say that.
He's the
Uh,
goat.
It's a big fact right there.
He's the goat.
Go
It's
to
a big
flopping.
fact.
He has every tool you want. I mean, he's fast. He has a cannon. Defensively, the biggest thing with Correa is too. He's only 24 years old. People forget he came up when he was 19. He was
He's
on
an
this
older
team.
shortstop, 24. Kidding.
I mean,
He's
he's probably,
unreal.
yeah. I mean, other than Bichette, he's probably the youngest one on this list.
So our 7 through 10s are pretty identical, just in different orders.
Well,
Basically.
yeah. I mean, but they're yeah. I mean, Anderson at 7 is.
High.
I mean, his would probably be the most radical,
Yeah, well,
other than Petey, who thinks Carlos
Until
Correa
the end of the
sucks.
year.
so Correa is not in your top 10, PD. I really need to see the whole list.
I do too. After that,
I'm with him. Okay, who's your 6?
My 6 is Trey Turner.
Too low.
I have Seager at 6.
Too low.
Mm.
I have Xander at 6.
Way too low.
I disagree.
You have to see.
Seager-
You have to see him play a full season like with a team that's actually worth something.
You did 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, he's the same player as he is now.
He hit like
Xan-
290 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
I
I'm
don't
glad he
think
hit
it's a,
low.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that Xander could be
everybody's
better
on
than he was
Seager's
2 years
dick
ago.
because of the playoffs he had last year. If he
No,
if he
everyone
yeah,
was Seager's.
if he
he's
didn't
the
have the
better
playoffs,
player.
if he didn't have, he's not the better player.
He's 100%.
Then
the better
Xander
player.
Bogaerts.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're
It's not
high.
even close.
It's not even close.
Bill,
You're right. It's not close.
You said it. You said
Let's
it.
judge by the contracts they get in 2 years.
Yeah, Seager's not going to be in the Dodgers because they're just going to let him go.
They're gonna get paid.
Not by the Dodgers. That's how much they value
Shortstops
him.
get paid though, so like it's not gonna. It's not just he got
Yeah.
paid. Like he's a great player. Like shortstops get paid.
And Seager does it when it matters most, when the lights are on.
I mean,
He
it's
did it-
easy.
he
It's
did it
easy
one
to do
time.
it. It's easy to do it too when you have everybody else around you is great
What he
players.
hit? What he hit in the
Easy to do
playoffs
it.
2 years ago?
I don't know the exact number.
It wasn't what he did last year. So
No,
he-
nobody
so
did
he
what he
had-
did last
So he
year.
had one good offseason.
That's not even fair.
My
so you
point
tell me
is
what he hit in the
you-
playoffs 2 years ago.
What?
You tell me
I'll
what he
look
hit in the
it up.
playoffs. Yeah, look it
No,
up.
I will.
I think
He's gonna look it up. He has no idea. so he's
if you
guessing.
put Xander in Seager's position, his numbers are going to look better than what Seager's do on the regular.
You're wrong. That's okay. It's all right to be wrong. It's all right.
Xander is gonna. If Xander was in that lineup, his numbers would look better than what Seager's.
No, they wouldn't.
Why?
And we're playing a what if game because he's not. He's not a better hitter. He's not. On a wire line, if you think these two guys are nuts, it's okay. Please comment. Thank you.
So far off base.
Control. Who's your 5?
My 5 is Corey Seager.
Okay, so he has Seager higher. Who's your 5?
I have Trey Turner 5.
So
I have
just got
Trey.
him switched.
I have Trey Turner 5 too. So I have Trey Turner 5, Xander 6. Just to be clear, Xander is 6, not in top 5. Xander's not in top 5. All right, good. Who's your 4?
My 4 is Xander Bogaerts.
Xander's not in the top 5.
He's in my top.
I'm
He's
kidding,
in my
bro.
top
I'm
4.
just messing around
Top
right now.
4, baby.
Bill is still looking up the statistics for the MLB postseason, and I hope that somebody else can look this up at home because Bill will sway this statistically. He won't even read the whole thing out. Like, oh well, the first series he batted 100. He had one at bat. I don't know. All right, good. Bill, who's your
2019 LDS? He batted 150.
That's the LDS. Can you give me the whole postseason?
Let's see, 150.
When it matters most.
He plays great when the lights are brightest. Cottrell, 150.
Okay.
Let's see.
I see. I told you he would sway the list. He
I'm
just gave me the
not.
LDS.
Last year, so the NLCS, he hit 310.
Oh no, crazy.
Well, if you average
We
that
said
out,
last
though,
year. I said last year he was great.
Okay.
I said before that he wasn't. So my whole point
You didn't
was,
say he wasn't. You
my
didn't have
whole
no
point-
idea.
do we want
You
to play
had
it
no
back?
idea.
I said it 4 minutes ago. I said the whole everybody's on Seager's dick because of his playoff run last year.
Okay.
Compare the regular season numbers; they're not close. And defensively, Bogaerts I think is 3rd or 4th in the major leagues. Seager's like 12th or 13th defensively.
Okay.
There's no way he's a better player.
He is.
You're high.
I'm
Like
actually not.
Give me drugs in the parking lot when we're done.
Dude. All right, so
Need all of them.
give me your 4.
Bogarts is 4 for me, where he should be.
I have Seager 4.
Way too high.
You can lie if you want. It's okay.
That's fine.
Who's your 3? Now, this should be the same top 3. This should be the same top 3.
It should be.
Not in order,
The
but
3 guys, depending on what order you put them in, they are the 3 elite shortstops in the major league.
My 3 is Trevor Story. I think he's a very talented player, and he probably could be 2 on my list. I just think the Rockies are a dumpster fire organization, and his numbers may be skewed a little bit because that organization is so terrible and they can't keep good players.
So it's okay for Xander, but not okay for Story. Got it. Who's your 3?
You just walked into that.
I don't get
You
it.
did walk into
You
that.
did walk into it.
The Red Sox are an awful organization too, but he's still better than Corey Seager.
Facts.
Okay, but you just said that if they switched organizations, so if Story switched organizations,
Yes, if Story went to the Dodgers, Story's better than Bogarts and Seager. If Bogarts goes to the Dodgers, he's better than Seager.
okay. Who's your 3?
I have Tatis Jr. 3.
I have Tatis Jr. 3 too. I just think it's a little too early.
Agree.
Can someone throw that back up? What they wrote with Seager? Seager batted 300 plus last year with 15 homers.
That's not in the playoffs.
Well, no, that's last year's regular season.
We're not talking about that. That
Well,
wasn't
that's
my
another
point.
3. You said it wasn't even close. The
That's
same
not
stats.
what I said, Gene. It's not what I said.
Yes, you
If
did.
you're going to argue, listen then. Listen
Which is
to what
why
I'm
someone
saying.
commented.
I literally said everybody. I verbatim. I said word for word. I
We
said
heard
everybody's
that.
on his dick because of his playoff run the year.
And then you said his
And then you
regular
said- and then
season
I
was
said the year
nowhere
bef-
near.
And I said no, I didn't. I said the year before that postseason he didn't do anything. I looked it up. He hit 150.
You looked up his NLDS. That's it.
Right.
You
Which
looked
is
up the NLCS?
That's what I said.
You didn't look that up.
I'm still here. Let's look it up.
All right. So who's your 2?
He's not. I don't think he played the NLCS.
Tatis Jr.
Okay, you have Tatis Jr. And your 2,
God, you just twist shit, dude.
you're a liar.
I'm not. You're a liar. You're literally lying.
We can play this back. and
We
it'll be
will.
fun.
I can't wait till we play it back.
And you'll be wrong.
You'll be wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Stories 2 for me.
I have Story 2 also. So that means we all have Frankie 1 then.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? Are you upset still? He's
He's not an Indian anymore. Of course I'm upset.
You have Frankie 1?
Mhm.
Okay, so we all have Frankie 1. I think that it's crazy that MLB had Frankie 4.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's absolutely insane. I think Frankie's a dark horse to win the MVP in the National League. I don't think that's I don't know why he wouldn't be. I don't know why anyone would have him that low.
I mean, you can argue
What would be the argument?
argue that he's in a better lineup. His numbers are probably going to go up. I don't know. I don't. I mean, it's not like he had a bad year last year. Like he fell off.
He didn't fall off last year, but he wasn't the best player on the Indians. So that's the only thing I could think of. J-Ram played great last year, and so that's
Yeah, but he also
that's not Frankie's fault though.
Yeah, he had an MVP caliber season. I
Yeah.
mean, like that's not.
But that's literally
a
the only
knock
thing
on
I can think
Frankie.
of though.
Michael Robert Lafferty went with Pablo Sanchez from Backyard Baseball as his number 1. I mean, you can't argue. The guy hits a home run every time.
He does. He hits over the brown fence every time.
Every time.
It's a fair argument.
Okay, so I'm going to take a minute. Is there NLCS numbers?
I don't think he played. They're not on here. Like literally every.
Postseason,
Did they
let
lose
me
it?
let me see
Like
here.
seriously, like every
Yeah, he only had the one series where he bat 150.
every
Okay,
other.
so he had 1 bad series
Yeah.
and a great season and a great postseason.
In the wild card, he bat 143
No
for
shit.
2020.
Okay.
And then he had a great DS, CS, and World Series.
So he had a great 3 series, but the wild card.
So you would say when I said
I'm
he had
just-
a great postseason last year and the year before,
and then
he
a
didn't
great
do
season
anything,
also.
I didn't say he didn't have a great season.
Okay.
You're twisting shit to fit your argument.
No, not.
My
He had a great
statement,
season.
my statement was he had a great postseason last year. That's why everybody's on his dick. I said he had a horrible postseason the year before. You said prove it. We just did. I didn't say he didn't have.
You didn't prove it.
I didn't. What's
So
143?
what? So if
143 is terrible. What do you mean?
he had
150
143
is
in
good.
1 series.
150 is good.
In 1 series. You
2
can't have
series.
bad series. No, 1 series.
My statement was the pro season before he had a bad year. He hit 143 and 150. That would qualify as bad, correct?
No, he didn't hit 143 and 150. He hit 150 in a wild card round this year. 143 in a wild card round this year.
Okay. So he had
Then
a
he
good DS,
CS and World Series.
Oh, World Series.
That's
Okay.
3 rounds.
Okay. So my statement still stays true.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm right.
What about the
Let's move
season?
on.
The
Let's
last-
go.
You're
The
not
last
right.
time,
Let's go.
the
I'm
last
right.
time he had a full season though, he batted 272, which isn't bad, but Xander would bat better than that in that lineup. But
Would
that's
bat
not
better
here.
than that in that lineup. What if?
So he had a good 2020 postseason and a bad 2019 postseason, which is all I said. And you got
He
mad
had a
about
bad
it.
29 postseason.
That wasn't a
series.
what if, by the way. That was a would like that's a fact. Like
It's not a
Xander
fact.
would bat better in that.
It's a what
lineup.
if.
It's not. It's a fact.
How is that a fact? Have you seen him bat in that lineup and bat better?
But I know it
That's
for
not
a fact.
then.
It's a fact.
It's not. And I get it that you agree with the Xander statement, but you guys can both be wrong. It's okay.
Okay, so if I said Michael Jordan would beat Shake Milton in a one-on-one matchup if they're both in their prime, that's a fact. Your argument would be, oh, you haven't seen it. You don't know that.
That's not the same.
I'm
argument.
telling you,
That's
it's
not.
the
They
same
both play in
thing.
the same era right now. Like that's a very lazy argument. Give it a real argument.
I'm telling you that's a fact. Xander's the
Yeah,
better
okay.
player.
Michael Jordan would beat Shake Milton 1-on-1, but Xander and Corey Seager play right now, and Corey Seager did it in the NLDS, the NLCS, the World Series, and throughout the 2020 season. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about a list this year for 2021, and last year it was very clear Corey Seager was better, and this year Corey Seager will be
Xander
better.
didn't play last year though, so you can't just say that's not a fair argument.
Yeah,
Xander played 20 games.
If you went through the first 5 years of the career, Bogarts has proven he's the better player.
We can go through the first 5 years of the career, and we'll pull that up and we'll put it on the wire page.
What?
That'll be fun.
What's Seager's career batting average regular season?
Seager's career.
Because Bogarts is like 2.
Yeah, Bill's on his tampon tonight. We know,
I'm
PD.
not.
Corey Seager right here. It says 295. 295 career.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Regular season.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's regular season. 295.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on since Bill just got proved wrong again. We're gonna move on to the NCAA brackets. Mike, if you can do me a favor and throw up any region you want, we're gonna break down each region game for game. MLB, we got outfielders next week. I can't wait to get into that. That'll be even more fun. All right, so it's funny. He pulls up the Michigan region. That's awesome. Mike, I know you didn't do it intentionally, but that was perfect. It was perfect.
That is where you're supposed to start.
All right, so Michigan, Mount St. Mary's, or Texas Southern. It'll be a great game. What do you guys think? I'm kidding.
Michigan
should roll that game.
Yeah.
A 16 has beaten a 1 once
time.
ever. It's not going to happen this year. So we can skip that. Is that cool?
Yes,
Yeah.
Michigan wins.
We got a fun game to go in with the 8-9. Let's help you pick it. LSU versus the Bonnies. I think Bill has the Bonnies. Am I right?
Correct.
Control, you got LSU.
I do have LSU, although I really wanted to pick the Bonnies in this one, but I just couldn't.
I have LSU. They're way too athletic for the Bonnies. I think that they play better competition, and I think you're looking at the Bonnies as 16-4 in the A10. I get that they can play offense. I get that they can shoot the ball. LSU's way too athletic and it's going to keep them off balance. LSU's your winner. That's just my take on it. Obviously, we've seen A10 teams make runs before, but I don't think it'll happen here.
It's going to be a very good, close game.
I don't think that LSU is necessarily too athletic for St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies, they play good defense. And I know you talk about how bad the conference is, but they're 5th in the country in points scored against them.
So if you're playing against
I get that, but that's still. That's the same argument.
We make
you
the
have
argument for
Gonzaga,
Gonzaga, right?
Exactly, it's the same
but
argument
Gonzaga
that you have, and
beats
you make it.
everybody's brinks in.
Okay, that's fine.
Bonaventure's lost 4 games.
They lost 4. They played great defense. We're not saying they're the best team in the country.
They played great defense versus LaSalle. I mean, not LaSalle, but Richmond. I don't know.
Gonzaga plays great offense against St. Mary's. So
LSU's biggest problem is they play no defense.
Yeah, well, they play
efficiency,
very
they're
good
more-
offense.
they do. Cameron Thomas is going to be the best player on the court, which was why I sided with LSU.
Again, I won't be surprised if LSU wins. I think Bonaventure has
It's an
enough to win.
8-9 game,
Yeah.
so it's a fun
It's-
1-point game.
They should be coin flips. That's the whole point of them if they're seeded correctly.
This has been one that a lot of people have talked about, Colorado, Georgetown, where you see a lot of pundits that are picking Georgetown. I don't see it that way. Colorado's the better team. Georgetown went on a run in a bad Big East. I don't see Georgetown winning this basketball game. And if you're looking at this at home and looking for a 5-12 upset, look further. I don't think this is the one. Control, what are your thoughts?
Everything you said is pretty much spot on. I don't love Colorado like everyone else does because, I've seen a lot of people say that they think Colorado has the team that can make a run. But, in the grand scheme of things, Georgetown just isn't that good. Like you said, the Big East was weak. They benefited from Nova losing their best player and Creighton having all their controversy with their coach. I don't think this game. I mean, I like Patrick Ewing as a coach. He really got those guys going, but I don't see Georgetown pulling this one off.
Your thoughts?
I mean, both nailed it for me. I have Colorado. I don't think it's actually gonna be a close game either. I watched them play enough. They have bigs that can play inside and out. The bigs can shoot threes. And then the guard's name is escaping me, but like statistically, he's one of like the top like 10 scoring guards in like the history of the NCAA or something. Like he's been there for 4 years. Started there. I don't see how Georgetown matches up with them anywhere on the floor.
I agree. Florida State versus UNC Greensboro. Anyone want to make an argument for UNC Greensboro?
I do not.
No,
I do not also.
Scotty Barnes, NBA prospect. He's going to be best player on the court. No chance for UNC Greensboro.
Here's a fun one. BYU versus Michigan State or UCLA. Now, we'll find out who they're going to play tomorrow night. I think it's going to be Michigan State, and I'm picking Michigan State to beat BYU.
I mean, I also think if Michigan State wins that game, I'm picking them to beat BYU. But if somehow UCLA escapes in that one, I am going to pick BYU over UCLA.
Your thoughts?
I am the same as Cottrell. I think Michigan State wins the game. And if they do, I think they handle BYU. If UCLA does win, I think BYU will beat UCLA.
If UCLA does somehow win, I'll still be picking UCLA over BYU. Texas versus Abilene Christian. This is a sneaky one. A lot of numbers say that Abilene Christian has a chance in this game.
You do.
Anyone want to make a strong argument for them? Anybody picking them?
I'm not picking them. I'm
Neither
taking
am I.
Texas. I think it's going to be a very close game. I've watched them play a couple times. Again, guard play and defense is what will win you games in the tournament, and they have it. They have guards that could play with Texas. Texas is bigger in the front, but Texas is one of those teams. We've talked about it all year long. You don't know what Texas team you're getting. And if Texas comes out and plays one of those C-plus games, they can very, very easily lose that game. If they don't come out and play a good game, Abilene Christian will beat them.
Texas is playing really well right now.
They go on spurts.
Yeah.
They had a good Big 12. They were obviously helped out by other teams getting knocked out of that tournament. We'll see what they do.
Any argument for Abilene Christian?
I mean, the only argument would be Abilene Christian has the best turnover ratio in the turnover to assist ratio in the country. So I mean, they don't really turn the ball over. So I mean, that's important if they're they're maximizing their possessions and scoring on every possession. Then they definitely got a shot. But I just think Texas is going to be too athletic for Abilene to keep up.
I'm firmly on Texas, and you'll find out a little bit more how firmly I am on Texas as we continue going through this bracket.
I am too, but that's the only thing that if you don't turn the ball over, you got a good chance to win. That's how I feel, especially in the tournament.
UConn versus Maryland. I'm picking the upset here. I like Maryland. I think they're the better team that plays in the better conference.
Maryland, this was a game that when I first saw the bracket, I picked Maryland, and I was the same way just because I thought, Maryland plays in the better conference and, they're more battle-tested. But this is that toss-up matchup, and I like going with the team that has the better player, and UConn's got James Bouknight, who's probably going to be a lottery pick. So I picked UConn in that one.
Where are you going with that one, Joe?
I flip-flopped back and forth on this for a while too, but I went with UConn. Bouknight is going to be the best player on the floor. And Maryland does well when they can get out early and kind of coast to a lead. That's going to be a close game, and they like to throw the ball in the stands a lot, turn the ball over. I will take UConn in a 2-point, probably last possession game.
I think Petey is the king of saying crazy things on just to get talked about. So
What do you say now?
He said Maryland's making it through the weekend. So that means they would be beating Alabama or Iona.
Well, I mean, he said Carlos Correa sucks too. I mean, so it's par for the course tonight.
Alabama over Iona. We're not talking about that, right?
No.
I mean, it's a Rick Pitino-led team. He's been there before. I don't see how they get over the hump, but I mean,
Iona's not terrible.
Rick Pitino's been there before. Like, he can probably get those guys going, but Alabama's got the best kept secret coach in probably college basketball. Nate Oates is a really good coach. He used to coach Buffalo. Like, he was the guy who had that mid-major program upsetting the big teams like Arizona State in the conference in the NCAA tournament. So I like Bama a lot in this tournament.
Okay, we'll find that out. How far you have Bama going? Can you put that bracket back up there? Let's continue that same bracket. We're good with doing the. Do you want to do all 32 games first, or do you want to do each bracket?
I think we should go all the way through the bracket and switch brackets.
All right, so put the first bracket up still. I know you're really excited back there, Mike. All right, so based off, who do you guys advance, Michigan versus LSU or St. Bonnie's? No, you picked the Bonnies, right?
I did.
So do you have the Bonnies beating Michigan?
No, I have Michigan winning.
Okay, you?
Yeah, I got Michigan beating LSU.
Okay, so I have Michigan beating LSU also. I don't think we need to get too deep dive into that. Florida State, Colorado. Where are you guys at? This is a tough one. Very tough game.
Scotty Barnes is going to be the best player on the court, but I do like Colorado to win that one.
I have Colorado as well.
Man. I have Florida State just because I think they get by Greensboro 100%. I think it's a really tough game. I think it'll be a one-possession game. When you see the line for the game, it'll probably be 1 or 2. I have Florida State sneaking by there in a really close game. I have Texas over any of the 3 that come out of the BYU, Michigan State, UCLA.
Agreed.
So we're no argument there. I have Texas, and I have Alabama over Maryland.
I have Alabama over UConn.
Alabama over UConn.
Okay. So we're going to the Elite Eight,
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. We have Michigan versus Florida State or Colorado. No one's went anywhere different than that. I have Michigan beating Florida State.
I also have Michigan beating. Oh, I have Michigan winning. I got them beating Colorado.
You have Michigan beating Colorado.
Same. I think it's probably around the time you're gonna get Livers back. So that'll be a big boost for them. And I just think defensively they're way too much for Colorado. And their scoring is just way more balanced. So I think Michigan gets through there. I think the Michigan game against LSU or St. Bonaventure could.
That's why you picked the Bonnies.
Possibly be harder than the Colorado.
I figured
game.
it out. I figured out why you picked the Bonnies.
Why?
He don't want to see LSU. He don't want that smoke.
I'm not going to lie. You don't want to see the Bonnies either, though.
Michigan won't see the Bonnies. I think Michigan matches better up with a shooting Bonnies team that probably plays decent defense than they do with an athletic LSU team, especially without Livers, in my opinion. Like as far as the matchup
They match up. They're third in the country in defense. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can make a case either way. I think they're probably a little, St. Bonaventure's not going to out-rebound them, so if they're not making their shots, that game could get ugly. They're going to destroy LSU on the other end of the floor, though. Dickinson could probably have like 30 that game. LSU has nobody on the back end.
Who do you got coming out of the bottom of the bracket?
I have Texas beating Alabama.
I also have Texas beating Alabama, and I know I said I love Alabama, but, I mean, Texas is just – I think they've hit their stride at the right time this year.
So we have 3 people that have the 3 over the 2. I have Texas over Alabama also. Wow. All right, Texas versus Michigan. Lead 8 game. You putting your boys in the Final Four? I have to go to Bill first for this one. Sorry.
Yeah, very true.
If Livers is playing and healthy, they're going to beat Texas. If he is not,
is that what you're picking on your bracket?
Yes.
You're picking Michigan in the Final Four?
Yep.
Okay. Just want to be clear. Who you got?
Texas. I got Texas,
I also have Texas in my Final Four. All right, so Michigan, Texas coming out of the East. You're listening at home and you're looking for a 3 to make a little bit of a run. The Texas Longhorns got you. All right, you can throw that next bracket up, Mike. Thank you. Bracket number 2. Who are we going with? This should be interesting. It's like roulette. The Baylor bracket, the South. Okay.
South.
This is so Friday. We'll be live at Chicken Pete's. If you guys want to stop by in Warrington, PA, stop by, say hi to your Wire2Wire guys. But this is the games we'll be watching. Baylor over Hartford. Hartford. It's funny because Hartford's the only 16 that could give anyone a game. They're not going to beat Baylor, but Baylor's not played the same basketball since the COVID break that they had. The Kansas State games are like the perfect example of that. Mm-hmm. They beat Kansas State by like 37 and 22 and then beat them by 5 or 6 in the Big 12 tournament. I like Baylor, obviously, in the game, but I probably wouldn't lay the 25 that they're putting up.
never know. It's just it's kind of like opening weekend of like college football. Those tend to cover more often than not. It's just hard to lay 25 when you're tipping the game off and you're down 25-0 when you look at it that way. But
the other problem too is that like I know Baylor's had a lot of blowout wins, but they've got guys on the end of their bench who are probably going to be hungry to play in the tournament. And so, like, even though the game's out of hand, they're probably going to still be trying to get theirs. They're like, this is the NCAA tournament. I want to score.
They're a deep team.
the only thing I would argue against that is if you're Hartford and your coach and you have your seniors and stuff like that, you're probably letting them stay on the floor to finish the game, and then you are ripe for a backdoor cover.
Alrighty, 8-9 games. These are coin flips. The very popular pick of UNC. I don't like it. I got Wisconsin. Better conference, better team.
I also have Wisconsin. Wisconsin's lost 4 of their last 5, but you have to look at who they lost to and how much it was by. So they lost to Iowa twice, Illinois once, and Purdue once. All 5 and under losses. They have the senior leaders on that team with Treese and Potter, and Wisconsin doesn't turn the ball over. So I like Wisconsin in that one, and I think that there's a lot of hype on UNC right now because they're getting hot at the right time. But look at their wins; like they've beaten the weaker teams in the ACC. So I'm not all on board with this.
Who beat them in
UNC
the ACC tournament?
Hype train. Florida State? Was it Florida State?
I think it was Florida State. I just don't.
Yeah,
They're not that hot. I get it.
They beat Duke and Notre Dame, and people thought they were. And then they beat Virginia Tech too.
They're playing drastically better than they were even the middle or the beginning of the year. Wisconsin lost a bunch of tough games down the stretch, but again, they're all 2 top 12 teams. Wisconsin plays great defense. North Carolina's biggest issue is they don't shoot super well. They're not going to get to the hole enough against that team. So unfortunately, I am picking Wisconsin.
Next game I completely flip-flopped on. I've been going back and forth. I'm absolutely nuts about this. Villanova, it's my squad. Obviously missing their best player. I still have them sneaking out a win over Winthrop. I picked Winthrop like 5 times, and I switched it. I have to go with Villanova here. Villanova has the better coach. They're going to be able to control the pace of the game, in my thoughts. And I'm going to go with Villanova. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get outruled here, but Villanova's played awful basketball recently. But they have Jay Wright, and they have a week to prepare. What do you got?
I have Winthrop.
And you?
I got Winthrop. I mean,
for what reasons?
Chandler Vaudrin is going to be the best player on the court. He's a. I told you guys before the show, he's essentially a poor man's LaMelo Ball, like the way he plays. He's a triple-double waiting to happen. He leads his team in points, assists, rebounds, and steals. And he's originally an Ohio kid. Like, he went to a school not too far from me. He went to school in Canton, home of the NFL Hall of Fame. But yeah,
there was connection.
The kid can play in Winthrop.
You knew the guy's like middle name.
They force a lot of turnovers. Like, they're gonna with Villanova missing their top dog and Gillespie. I think Winthrop can force turnovers on Villanova, and they can control the pace.
Alrighty, so I got outruled there, which is fine, but I still have Villanova winning a first-round game. I have Purdue running over North Texas.
Purdue's going to win that game. It will not be a run over.
I think they're going to win it by double digits.
The problem with North Texas is that they only have one player that gets like legitimate playing time that's over 6'6", and Purdue has monsters in the paint. So I do think that game gets ugly as long as Purdue can keep those bigs out of foul trouble.
I think that Purdue wins the game by 10+. I think North Texas, needless to say.
Bill, what is it about North Texas that
you look at the conference they played in this year. There's a lot of good teams that came out of that conference. They played good competition all year. Purdue is another team. They're solid. They're not overwhelming. I think if North Texas shoots the ball well, that size isn't going to matter as much on the defensive end anyway. And Purdue's bigs they're completely hit or miss. Like, they can play the whole game, score 4 points. If that happens, I think North Texas will be in. I just don't think they're going to get run over. I could be wrong, but I feel like they have a chance to stay in that game.
Okay. Texas Tech versus Utah State. I got Texas Tech. I think they're they've been they're a very rocky road team, but I think the talent is there. I think with the 5 days of preparation, I think that Texas Tech gets a W there. What do you guys think, Gus?
I have Texas Tech in a close game. Utah State finished the year very strong. They had to win a bunch of big games on the road to get in, and they won them all against good teams like Boise, Colorado State. They weren't playing schlubs down the stretch. They have a big man that's good, and their guards are decent. That is a game. Again, I'm picking Texas Tech, and I'm fairly confident in it. But if Texas Tech comes out and throws up one of their duds where they only score like 55 points because they don't shoot well, they're going to go home.
Okay. I don't look at that as a game that 6-11 upset that you can really pull. Here's an upset I really like, and I
got Texas Tech, by the way.
I just completely skipped you.
Yeah.
I knew you had Texas Tech because we talked about it, and I completely forgot to go to you. I'm sorry.
Mac McGlung, I think he might be a player that we talk about like a week from now, like, yeah, this is a tournament. Like, he's got his name written all over it, and, he's willing this Texas Tech team to victories. They play really good defense. But
they do, and that's what keeps them in games. That's why they did so well in the Big 12 this year. He hasn't been the issue though. It's usually what the other four guys do around him.
But when they lose, it's like he has like 11 or 7. Like, I mean, they've lost a couple games where he had 20 plus. But if he's on and they're playing that defense that we know they can play, Texas Tech's going to be a tough out.
Okay, so to move forward, because I think we all have Texas Tech, here's an upset that part of the reason, and I'll get into why I picked Texas Tech to get into the Sweet 16. I don't think I have the stones to pick Colgate. But if you're looking for a 3-14 upset, because this game is going to be a very, very good game, I would almost bet on Colgate. I think they're getting like 8 points.
I thought it was going down, but
Colgate can run up and down the court. This game might go over. I think the over-under sit at 166 or 167. Colgate can score, and they can score with the best of them, and they're going to run, and that's Arkansas's game is to run. And I think that this is a bad matchup for Arkansas. It's the worst matchup for any three. It's one of the huge upsets I can really see happening. For the sake of just, if I had to pick, I would say Arkansas by 1 or 2, but Colgate is a sleeper to look out for.
9.5.
I would take them plus 9.5.
I agree with you. Plus 9.5 is minus 122, and minus 9 is 100. So, I mean, that's going to come down.
Yeah, I would get it now if you could. Colgate is a very, very slept on team that you just.
What did you say the over under was?
166, 167 is what I thought.
162.5.
That was close.
Yeah, it's close.
Just guessing too.
I mean, if you feel that way, I would get that now too, because that's probably only going to go up.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't think it's going to be that high. I mean, that's like saying if that game is as close as we think it's going to be, that's like saying it's going to be 80 to 85 or 84. Like, I don't think it gets there. Like, I know it has all the makings to get there, but I just don't.
They don't use the shot clock at all.
The only thing ever scares me, especially opening round games, especially with a smaller school, they tend to come out cold. And if you give away 3 or 4 minutes of a game at the beginning, that's where you get screwed at the end, where they're sitting at like 155, and you're like, oh, if they made 2 shots in the opening 4 minutes, we're hitting over. So it's tough.
I can see it being a close enough game to where they have to foul down the stretch, which is why I think that.
And you get free points with no time coming off the clock.
Correct.
And then God forbid you get overtime, and I mean you're guaranteed to go over then.
Colgate plus 9.5 in the over is where I'd probably go.
I think Arkansas wins this game. Moses Moody is going to be best player on the court. It's going to be a talent that Colgate hasn't seen all year. And Arkansas is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. I think they were at 9 or 10, and so I just think that Arkansas is going to be too much. They're a lengthy team too. I just think they'll be too much on both ends for Colgate to pull off the upset.
I have Arkansas winning. I think it's gonna be a good game.
I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it. Florida versus Vatek.
I don't know.
You guys said this was a bore fest?
I do. I think so.
I think it's going to be great. It's an opening game. It's the opening game of the tournament.
I just want to know how they picked that to be the first game.
I mean, it's a game where, in the sense of, you said because we don't know who wins, it should be a good game.
Correct.
I agree with that. but there's no fire. Like there is no star player on the court. It's not going to be like it's going to be this offensive, explosion or these guys just going out there and putting the clamps on people. Like there's nothing about this game that excites me. But with that said, though, I do think Virginia Tech pulls off the win.
I have Virginia Tech.
I have Florida, better conference, better team. It's kind of where I'm going. It's my trend throughout the whole thing. So I think Florida plays in the SEC and Virginia Tech plays in the ACC. And I think that the SEC is a better conference this year.
I mean, it's not. I would agree, but it's not like the
close.
SEC.
I think the
powerhouse.
ACC is terrible this year.
It's way down for the normal ACC.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know. I have to look through it, but I don't think I have an ACC team like really making it anywhere.
I got Florida. No, I don't. Never mind.
We'll get into that. Ohio State, Oral Roberts. I like Oral Roberts. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I Ohio State in that one.
Oral Roberts by 7.
I said it to you guys before the show. Oral Roberts they're not going to win the game. Ohio State is going to handle them pretty easily, but Oral Roberts has the leading scorer in the country, Max Abrams. Like, he can fill it up, and Oral Roberts is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. So Ohio State just has to make sure that they take care of their business on the defensive end and not let them get any easy shots.
Are you putting your boys on upset alert? Because it sounds like it.
No, they're not on upset.
Oral Roberts has 10 losses in a conference you've never heard of.
Oral Roberts shoots the ball well, and
Not
the
you,
name of
but
the game is to
people
put
at home.
a ball in the bucket.
If Oral Roberts wins that game, you have to leave Chickies, right?
We'll throw him out immediately.
Because I will be unbearable.
Especially Shally drunk.
But I'm just, for all the reasons you love Colgate, Oral Roberts is a smaller version of that.
Does Colgate have 10 losses in a conference that no one's heard of?
No, they have. But
I'm just checking.
They only played 15. They played 15 games in the Patriot League. Like, let's not act like they were out there playing 30 games in the SEC.
What league does Oral Roberts play in?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I cannot tell you.
And we watch a lot of college basketball, and you don't even know what conference this team's
I know
in.
There's like
what
80
it
conferences
boils
now.
down to, though, is that I know Oral Roberts has a guy that puts the ball in the bucket at the best rate
So
in the
someone
country.
can score. So we're good. I'm kidding.
They know how to dribble. They're in the tournament.
All right,
Max
so let's
Abrams,
just stay right there.
24 game.
Ohio State versus Florida or Vatek.
Ohio State.
I got Florida versus Vatek, and I got Ohio State winning. I think Oral Roberts will actually be a better game than Florida or Virginia Tech.
Oh, that's a really bad comment. Good. You have who? Ohio State?
Yeah.
I have Ohio State also. I don't even think. Okay, when Ohio State beats them by 27, then we'll talk about if Vatek and Florida will be a better game.
I do think there's gonna be a lot of close games in the first round. I think there's a lot of parity this year. I don't think
It's a lot of parity this year.
but
Which is why I'm taking the better team.
no, I get it. I fully agree with
Yeah.
you. I just think there's also, again, I think we talked about it last week. There's 8 or 9 teams that I would consider elite. I know you're just a little bit smaller, I think.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6. But Ohio State's either in that list or right on the fringe of that list. Like, those teams are not going to have problems.
Oral
tomorrow
Roberts
Saturday.
not?
No.
I'm checking.
No.
Just to be clear, too, last week we were talking about Ohio State being a dumpster fire, but then they reel off 3 games in the Big Ten tournament. It's like they could make
No
a
one
run.
said they were a dumpster fire. What we said was
you said that
they had lost 4 straight games. I said they were a sinking ship.
Yeah, you called them
It's
a
not
sinking
dumping
ship.
fire.
You
There
called them a
was
sinking
water in the
ship.
ship, and they cleared some of that water out. Let's be clear.
A sinking ship is just a dumpster in the ocean that's on fire.
No.
Exactly.
All right.
And
So we all have Ohio State over Florida or Vatek, right?
Yes.
That's a pretty easy game from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So Texas or Arkansas, because you guys picked Arkansas.
Texas Tech, right?
Texas
Tech
yeah.
or Arkansas. Sorry.
I got Texas Tech over.
I have Texas Tech as well.
So I have Texas Tech too, and I think we all have Texas Tech. Not because I think Texas Tech is just that much better than Arkansas. I just am so scared Colgate's going to beat Arkansas, and I think Texas Tech will beat Colgate.
My thing is that
I'm going with like the odds here. I
Texas-
think Texas Tech.
plays the defense that can give Arkansas some issues, and I like that.
There's 2 things.
Jeff Barone said Oral Roberts is in the Summit League.
Cool.
Cool. I just want to make sure.
The more you know, I'll never forget it.
You never will now.
Need one of those. The more you know.
The more you know.
Can't even
star
watch
thing.
Hulu because of that.
Hulu.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, the 2 things you want going into a tournament, you want guard play and you want defense. And being battle tested, Texas Tech checks all 3 of those boxes for me.
So I got a small announcement, and I'm really hype about it. Cleveland Browns re-signed Rashard Higgins.
Oh God. Let's talk about something that
right.
matters.
And the show
Kidding.
comes to a halt.
All right, so let's break it down real quick. Ohio State versus Texas Tech. We have in the bottom and the top of the bracket. I have Purdue beating Winthrop or Villanova. Do you guys have anything different there?
No, I have Purdue.
I also have Purdue.
Okay, that's simple. Do anybody have Wisconsin or North Carolina upsetting Baylor?
No.
That's simple.
I don't. I think Baylor, Wisconsin is going to be one of those games, though.
I don't disagree.
I think
But-
it's going to be like
You might as well write your ones into the Sweet 16.
It's-
If you pick a one to lose early,
it's Michigan against LSU.
it's tough to do that.
I agree, but if one of the four of them is going to lose in the second round, it's probably going to be us.
That's fair. So Baylor versus Purdue.
I have Baylor.
I also have Baylor.
Well, you guys think Baylor's the best team in the country, so I'm assuming that you'd have Baylor over Purdue. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think that's the game that gives Baylor their heart attack, but I think Baylor squeaks it by. If Purdue's getting anything more than 6 points, I'm taking Purdue plus the points. Anything more than 6, I'll take Purdue.
Those Baylor guards are just going to beat up on the guards from Purdue, though.
Yep, they sure are.
Okay, so Ohio State versus, this is Homer Simpson. Ohio State versus
Homer Simpson, as you're going to pick
Texas
Ohio
Tech.
State. I don't want to hear it. I pick Ohio State.
I have Ohio State also.
I know.
I have Ohio State.
The
All right,
Michigan guy picked
so
State.
Ohio State versus Baylor.
Got Baylor.
No Homer.
I'm going with this is the perfect bracket. Like I'm gonna, 3 weeks from now I'm gonna have $1 million from ESPN or
You can
something.
get more than that for a perfect bracket right now. It's like silly money.
Silly money.
$3 million, I think. After taxes, maybe $1 million.
I have Baylor in a very, very close game.
I have Baylor in a blowout.
Oof.
I think their close game is Purdue, but that's just my 2 cents.
Ohio State has essentially what's been giving Baylor problems in the
Correct.
past.
Ohio State is a bad matchup for Baylor. I think Baylor's guards are better than Ohio State's, and that's going to eventually probably get it done.
Mhm.
But
Better hope the game's not close with a minute left.
I mean that's a very
Baylor wins by 10. Just kidding.
I mean,
You
yeah.
can get the next bracket ready, Mike.
Um,
We've done 2 already. We're not doing terrible.
I don't think Baylor's going to coast through this region like people think they're going to.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they're going to have close games.
I agree with you.
It's probably the
Second toughest
second
region?
toughest region.
I agree. See, we both agree on some. We agree on stuff here at Wire to Wire. Just doesn't happen much.
Just not Corey Seager.
Just wait till we get to that West, though. It's going to be
This
bonkers.
bracket is insane. This Midwest. He pulled up the Midwest, and I think this bracket is just like heavy hitter after heavy hitter after heavy hitter. Drexel, the hometown team, Southwest Philly floater.
Going to get smashed.
Yeah, not close. I'll take Kofi. Kofi Cockburn.
Coburn.
I hate
His last
it.
name's Cockburn.
They go out of their way not to say it right because they don't want to say cock on the air.
Yeah. It's the truth.
It's literally Cockburn. Just say his name.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
don't pause in the middle. You won't get in trouble.
I agree. Loyola Chicago over Georgia Tech is where I'm going. You guys have been talking about Loyola Chicago for a month. If you guys pick Georgia Tech, I'm throwing you off the show.
Well, I was high on Georgia Tech last week, and they are the hottest team still in the ACC. But I'm gonna go with Loyola Chicago. It's a toss-up.
If Loyola Chicago loses their first round game, I'm pulling footage from 2 weeks ago.
But
Which
the
said,
other,
guarantee Loyola Chicago wins the game.
but I listened back to the show. What Bill said is that they absolutely should win their first round matchup, and then they have a chance to win their second round matchup. And then you said right now they're projected as an 8 or 9, and Bill said they wouldn't be there. That they should be a little bit higher. And then he did agree with you that like if they went up against a 1 seed the next round,
they're not going to win the second round.
it will be different. But Georgia Tech runs one of my favorite defenses in
So
basketball.
what you're saying
They
is
run
we
the
were both
1-3-1.
right?
Yeah, you
Okay,
you
we're
were
both right. That's
Yeah.
that's
I listened
pretty cool.
to it just to get some clarification on
I
it.
love it. Control's awesome.
But Loyola has Sister Jean. She's bringing the magic. I'm going with Loyola Chicago.
She's showing up to. Is she in
She's
Indianapolis?
vaccinated. She's all good to go.
I love it. You go with Loyola too?
Nope, Georgia Tech.
Oh man, are you serious?
Yep.
Georgia, it hurt my heart to pick it, but I love Georgia Tech. They were Said it last week, but I just don't think they get it done.
They're hot, and to your point, which you said the first time we talked about them, this isn't the team from 2 years ago.
I agree.
3 years ago. I do think they should.
I just think you give a lot of hype to Chicago.
I did. I don't think they should be an 8. I think they're one of the teams that got seeded poorly.
To me, I think it's crazy that BYU is a 6 and Loyola is an 8.
Agreed.
But that's just my 2
cents.
They shouldn't be an 8, and they got a bad 9.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now,
it's a bad 9 for them.
Kittrell's new, but is like definitely going to be a.
But
it's definitely going to be a
I
trademark
love
for
Ohio
him. I love
State.
it. All right, Tennessee versus Oregon State. Anybody picking Oregon State here? I know you guys don't like Tennessee. I like Tennessee here.
I hate Tennessee, but no.
I like Tennessee here.
Oregon State's Georgetown Junior for me.
Oregon State, in reality, has no business being here.
I don't think they have a business being in the tournament.
That's
but
what
they
I'm saying.
won their conference.
No business being here. They do have what I like though. I like in the tournament. I like teams that have senior-led guards, and they do have one of those, Ethan Thompson. But I think Tennessee's going to take the cake in this one.
Tennessee's defense will be enough to get them through that game, even if they decide not to show up and play offense, which they do like every other game.
Bill, I know you've been talking about it for a while. Is there a chance? Well, not is there a chance. Do you have Liberty over Oklahoma State?
This was one of the last games I picked. Liberty's really good.
Liberty. Liberty's
really good.
It's like I just did a free commercial for
They
them.
play a very deliberate game.
You see that, Parks? I can handle that.
Kind of like Virginia. Their coach used to be Virginia's assistant coach. Took the same system down there. They are very good defensively. They're long.
Meanwhile, he picks.
I
I'm
think.
kidding.
I'll be honest.
Let's go to him into getting Liberty.
It was.
Pick it.
I was leaning it until Oklahoma State just got straight up disrespected for after their run through the Big 12 and everything. I think
That's such BS. That how they're a 4 and West Virginia's a 3.
And I think
in the same bracket.
I agree. I think Cade's going to come out with a chip on his shoulder. I think I'm picking Oklahoma State. I will not be shocked if Liberty wins.
They have a better record. They beat them twice. Oh my god.
I know. I don't disagree with you. Nobody does.
What does the committee think when they do something like that?
I think they think what me and Bill think, and that they think that West Virginia is the better team, but Oklahoma State just has their number.
I don't
agree with it because I mean you have to rank it how it's supposed to be.
You still have to reward the team for going on the court and winning the game.
Correct.
And I think they didn't do that.
But I still think that West Virginia is a better team than Oklahoma State, although they lost to them twice.
I hope they play.
I think
again.
they're a bad matchup.
I don't think they can.
But
they can.
I got Oklahoma State too.
Okay, so you're taking Oklahoma State though?
Me? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Liberty's that's probably the worst 13 draw of the 4. Liberty can shoot. They can fill it up.
I don't disagree with that. I just don't see the best player in the country, second best player in the country, because I'm a big Jalen Suggs guy, but we'll get into that. I don't think the best prospect in the country is going to lose to Liberty.
I'm with you on that.
All right, so this is a very popular upset by a lot of people.
Shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, one of us might pick it. San Diego State, who's a very good 6, they could have been higher, versus Syracuse, who's was a very, very bad team that wasn't going to make the tournament at all, and then they got hot. Buddy Boeheim started playing great, and that zone defense started playing great.
They didn't even get hot though. They won 2 games and they got knocked out. They should have been in the playing game.
They absolutely should have been.
I agree.
UCLA and Michigan State, honestly,
they have no business getting 11 seed. And San Diego State is at 6, is seeded way too low. It's a bad draw for them. I'm listening.
It's a bad overall game for San Diego State.
Agreed.
They match up really well.
that
2-3 that zone that Syracuse runs matches up well with San Diego State. If San Diego State is not hitting their outside shots, they're in a lot of trouble.
I thought you were going the other way. Okay, yeah, you're out right. I've watched San Diego State enough this year on late games. They struggle shooting sometimes, and if they do, it's a typical San Diego State team. They play amazing defense. They're going to man up. They're going to run people at Buddy all game. But they absolutely struggle to score sometimes, and when they do, that's when they lose or they get in really tight games. I'm going with San Diego State just because, again, I just think they're the better team. And at the end of the day,
so all 3 of us are picking the better team.
Yeah, but again, you
have San Diego State, right?
Do not be surprised if Syracuse wins that game.
I've been
It's a bad matchup.
It is.
But
Agreed.
but you know
I
what?
think they got screwed.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just gonna say, I've been high on San Diego State pretty much all year. I
remember
don't
the text
think,
conversation.
I don't think that Syracuse is that good defensively. Like, I know they have this zone, but this zone isn't what we're used to seeing from Syracuse.
He doesn't have the athletes to make it
exactly
dominant where he normally does.
exactly. And I think San Diego State, they shoot the ball well enough. I know some games they do struggle with shooting, but they shoot the ball well enough, and I think they're going to find their spots in this zone. They're going to get Mitchell. He's going to probably sit right in the middle of it and find the shooters on the outside. So
he's the key. If he can sit there and distribute the ball back out to the wings or turn around and take the foul line
mid-range
jumper and hit them consistently, and Syracuse is in a lot of trouble.
And San Diego State's won 14 in a row. The 2 games they didn't win before that, he wasn't even playing. So, like, I mean, I feel like if he would have played, those 2 games, they're probably looking at like a 23, 22 game win streak. So San Diego State's legit. Syracuse doesn't scare me as much as it scares everybody else.
Okay.
I just don't know how they're a 6 seed. I just don't get it.
West Virginia beats Morehead State. Any arguments?
No, there's people that are on Morehead, though, believe it or not.
Those people are wrong.
I agree.
West Virginia has the clamps.
This is not a 3-14 matchup that you want to try to, throw a little upset in.
No.
Here's your upset. I like Rutgers over Clemson.
I like Rutgers as well.
I like Rutgers, too. Best player on the court plays for Rutgers, Ron Harper Jr.
They're dogs. They're dogs.
They're so
They play tough.
horribly inconsistent, though.
But they play tough, and I think they can give Clemson a lot of issues. Better conference, better team. Houston destroys Cleveland State.
Correct.
Destroys them.
I agree by the end of the game, but I think
I say it intentionally just because Cleveland.
Early on, though, Cleveland State plays very similar to how Houston plays. They're a scrappy team that plays really good defense. What I would bet is the over in fouls in this game, whatever that number is at, I would bet the over because I think it's going to get.
That's not good then.
I think it's going to get a little chippy. But I don't think Houston has any issues.
The first time Houston gets a touchy referee crew is going to be the first game they get in trouble.
Well, I don't think it's going to be
because they're not deep.
It's not going to be one-sided though. Like I say, the fouls are going to be like that because I feel like the officials are going to want to control that game just so there aren't any hard fouls down the stretch. So it may be ticky-tack calls, but it's going to go both ways where Cleveland State gets them and Houston
doesn't matter.
Well.
Houston's not that deep, and if they get people in foul trouble, it's not like Houston's
it doesn't matter against Cleveland
game.
State though.
I agree.
Down the road it will.
Yeah,
it will.
I do. Agree.
So I'll tell you right now, and all right, I'm picking Houston to beat Rutgers, but Rutgers is a dog-type team that can play dogfight defense with Houston. Anybody have Rutgers over Houston?
I don't, but I actually have it starred. I think that is a very tough test for Houston. If Rutgers shows up and Harper shoots well, their big plays well, they can give Houston everything they want. Rutgers, I can't tell you how many times they've burned me this year. They play great against a Michigan, and then the next night they go out against Indiana and just shit the bed. It's their MO. But I think they'll be up for it. I think it's a very, very good competitive game.
Okay, so Houston in the Elite 8 or Sweet 16. West Virginia, I have them over San Diego State.
I have that too. I hated to pick against San Diego State. I love that team, but I don't see them getting past West Virginia.
I have West Virginia over San Diego State. What do you have? He's looking. He's worried.
Because I have West Virginia. That was one of the last games I picked as well.
Okay. Oklahoma State, Tennessee.
I think San Diego State can win that game.
I do too, but I don't see it happening.
When you get into 6-3s, I think that you can make the argument anyway. Oklahoma State versus Tennessee.
I have Oklahoma State.
I have Tennessee.
I have the Fighting Cade Cunninghams. Sorry, buddy.
My thinking is
I've been on Oklahoma State all year though, I can't.
You have. My thinking though, Tennessee has 2 guards that are probably going to go in the lottery. Just feel like two guys in the lottery is better than just one, and I just feel like they're gonna.
The only difference
they're gonna
is
outscore.
Tennessee's soft.
Cade shows up every game.
That's true.
Those
no,
two
that's
guards
true.
do not.
That is very true.
Cade is so much better than those 2 guards.
Oh yeah, he is. For sure.
They're going to play with an attitude in this tournament now.
You want to pick Georgia Tech over Illinois?
No. I think Oklahoma State's going to win that game. I really do.
Illinois versus Oklahoma State.
I have Illinois.
Well, I have Illinois versus Tennessee, but Illinois.
Well, I mean, we're just going over the right bracket. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Tennessee could easily win that game.
They could.
I'll go Illinois too, because I think that Illinois is the easier road. You'll see. I have Illinois. I've given them the respect. They've earned it. Illinois. I said bottom of the bracket. We have Illinois. We have on the bottom of the bracket we have West Virginia versus Houston.
I have Houston.
West Virginia.
Been on Houston all year.
On two different brackets, I have Houston and I have West Virginia. I've literally flip-flopped on this game. For show purposes, I'm going to go with Houston. And I have the winner of this game losing in the next round to Illinois.
So do I.
Me too.
So I have Illinois in the Final Four, guys, even though I've crapped on them all year, so they've earned their respect. So hold on, real quick. Our Final Fours right now, we have 3 1s at this point. No, I have a 3. I have Texas. Cool.
Yep.
I'm good. I don't want 4 1s. All right, throw the last one up. Mikey.
The most fun one of them all.
I'm glad you saved the best for last, right? It's not the best for last. It's the easiest for last.
It's actually an awful bracket.
But it's fun, though, everywhere else.
Gonzaga. I know. So I have right now, I have Baylor. I have Illinois, and I have Texas.
We have the
3-1.
same. We have the same
And I
3
have
in the Final
Gonzaga.
Four.
And I know you're so scared to say Gonzaga's going to win their bracket. You keep saying they're not going to make the Final Four. Hey, Eric Rosenblum, I know you're listening. I know you're watching. On the wire line, tell me what team comes out of the Baylor bracket, because you've been saying all season they're not coming. That Baylor is not coming. Not going to make the Final Four. I love that, by the way. I hope you're right.
I feel like there's only like one place you could really argue they get knocked out.
Ohio State.
What?
You're talking about? I thought you were talking about Baylor.
I'm talking about Gonzaga.
Oh.
No, the Baylor bracket he's talking about.
Yeah. Agreed.
I really want to know what his is. Gonzaga, easy win, first round. Oklahoma, Missouri.
I have Oklahoma.
I have literally been back and forth on this game. I hate both these teams, to be honest. But I'm going to go with Oklahoma. They got Austin Reeves. He's the do-it-all player. He's probably going to be the best player on the court, so that's probably why I side with them.
Eric said Ohio State, by the way. Oklahoma. I have Oklahoma in this game. Better team, better conference.
That was it for me.
You just got to hope that team shows up, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Oklahoma's
but
definitely laid enough eggs this year.
And
Missouri's the same case. Yeah,
Missouri's
that's
the
true.
same thing.
They have the same MO.
Maybe they'll both lay eggs and it'll be a great shit game.
43-41, Oklahoma.
I'm all for that.
Creighton versus UC Santa Barbara. Here's your 12-5, guys.
I am going to stick with Creighton. They have this really bad pattern of playing really well after a really bad game. So after they got smoked in the Big East Conference tournament, I think they're a couple days away from everybody, them, settling down, talking amongst the teammates, with the coaches. I think they'll rally the bus a little bit on this one. I think they'll get past UC Santa Barbara.
Okay. You have Creighton. You have.
I have UC Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara lost 1 game since December 28th, and they out-rebound pretty much everybody they go against. And Creighton, I just have no clue what team's going to show up. You have no clue where these players' minds is at, like if they trust their coach still, like because of the whole controversy thing. I mean, you go out and lay that big of an egg in the Big East tournament. I don't know what to expect from you. And UC Santa Barbara is playing really good basketball, so
UC Santa Barbara's conference is worse than Gonzaga's.
that's fair.
I've been back and forth on this one a lot. I picked UC Santa Barbara in a couple of my brackets already. If I had to really bet on this game, a money line, I would take Creighton. Barely. I'll take UC Santa Barbara plus the points. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, you're going to know who's going to win that game in the first 6 minutes of the game. Let me tell you why. If Creighton isn't shooting, they're going to lose the game, and you'll know right away. Right away. Creighton is not shooting, they're not going to win that game. Because UC Santa Barbara is going to out-rebound them, 100%.
If they get down big early, too, I could see there's a chance they just roll over. But
yeah. And then the next game is really fun because you don't know how to pick it. Virginia versus Ohio. I don't know how to pick this game. Virginia's still not even in Indianapolis right now.
I'm flying in on Friday night.
They're not even there yet. We don't even know who their player is that has COVID. We don't even know if they're practicing. We don't even know anything about this team right now. They're the better team than Ohio when they're playing well. Virginia is a hot and cold team. I mean, this would be a really good spot to pick a 13 over a 4.
I read something today that said as long as everybody passes going forward, minus the COVID players or player, whoever it is, they're going to practice Friday before they get on the plane, and they're going to do a walkthrough, like a very easygoing shoot around Friday, just to get used to the gym when they get there Friday night. So I don't know if that changes anything for you. I'm just telling you that's the most up to date thing that I know.
I follow that, but they're not going to get any shoot around time on the actual court.
No, they are going to shoot around on the court.
They can't. The games will be being played on that court the entire day.
They are
Friday and Saturday.
What region are they in?
They're in the West, so they would have to shoot around Friday night at the court.
That's what they said. Friday night.
That would
It'd be late though.
Yeah, it'd be late.
Could be late
because they're not flying in.
They're getting in late.
Yeah, that's my point. I just don't. If this is an easy game to pick Ohio if you're looking for an upset, I'm going to go Virginia because they're the better basketball team, but I'm sure one of you two will go Ohio.
I am going with Ohio. They got this kid, Jason Preston. I talked about the poor man's LaMelo Ball earlier. They got Preston's the poor man's Lonzo Ball. He's the do-it-all point guard for this team. He's probably going to be a first-round draft pick.
So the poor man's bust in the NBA. Got it. I'm kidding. I just like taking shots at Lonzo.
Really good player. This Ohio team played Illinois earlier this year, and they held it pretty close. They didn't win, but they kept it close. So they know what it's like to go up against top competition. And like you said, Virginia is the biggest question mark.
You can 100% see Ohio versus UC Santa Barbara. That's like very, very fair to say. Who do you have?
Yep. I took Ohio.
So you have 2 out of 3 hosts taking Ohio here. The only reason I'm taking Virginia is because they're battle tested.
They're the hottest team in the MAC too. Ohio can score, and they're not slouches on defense.
I can see that happening too. I don't know. USC versus Wichita State or Drake.
Drake was a team I was super high on at the beginning of the year. They were 22-0, I think, at one point, and then injuries have just ravaged them.
Yep.
I think the committee kind of did them a favor for, what they achieved during the year when they were healthy, and they gave them the bid, or at least a chance to get in. They're missing their best player and their starting point guard. I think Wichita State's going to beat them. And then I have USC beating either one. Doesn't matter regardless.
You?
Same thing. Evan Mobley's going to be the best player on the court. He's going to be the difference maker, obviously.
I'll go Wichita State because I think they're going to beat Drake, and I think they'll beat USC, and I think Evan Mobley's not that good. He's good I just don't.
He's a good college player. I could see if you say that you don't think he's going to translate to the NBA, but for what this tournament is, he's going to be a good player. He's going to be the best player on the court.
Yeah, there's no doubt there. I think Wichita is going to play a better team game.
I think that's what we talked about. I think he becomes a good pro. I just don't think he's going to be elite.
He's not the superstar.
Yeah, he's not going to turn into, a top 5 center in the league.
But I think he has a talent. He has a talent to be in the league 10+ years.
Or if you're a 7-footer that can shoot, you're going to be in the league. And he's a 7-footer that can shoot.
This NBA, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think I think Wichita is going to end up beating Drake, and I think Wichita will beat USC. Kansas or Eastern Washington? I don't think anybody's arguing that, right?
The only way this is close is if Kansas is still missing somebody key with COVID. Like we don't know yet who's going to be missing that game. That's the only way I can see Eastern Washington keeping that game close.
Sylph said on Selection Sunday that they were most likely going to have McCormick back. So if he's back, then I don't think this is even a game.
Okay. So Oregon over VCU?
Yes. This is not an old Shaka Smart VCU team.
I agree. Shaka's on a better team, coaching a great team.
VCU has a kid, Nashawn Highland, who is really good. And I'm picking Oregon, but
I love this.
But
I love when people hedge bets here.
But VCU has.
Sorry, you're not the hedge clipper.
Highland can keep them in it, and he can will them to victory if this game's close down the stretch. But I got Oregon for the record.
We all have Oregon here, right? Iowa's going to destroy Grand Canyon. Might beat them by 35.
Yeah.
That's the one game where I really feel comfortable laying the points.
Garza might struggle in that one, though. Grand Canyon runs this 2-center starting lineup.
Yep.
They got like 7-footer, and the other guy's like 6'10", 6'11". So
There's
Garza
there-
might struggle
there's-
a little bit.
There's talent on that team. I mean, they have no shot of winning the game, but don't go like crazy. Like
Iowa
all those
can get on.
points.
They can make Iowa uncomfortable.
Yep,
All right, Iowa versus Oregon.
Iowa.
I already told Alex this is not. There's Iowa.
No, this is not.
Mr. Oregon's not getting 2 wins.
Not this year. This is not one of their better Oregon teams.
Dylan Brooks is not walking through that door.
Nope.
I have Kansas over Wichita, and the only reason I have Kansas over Wichita, and which is fine, is because I don't know who's coming out of 6-11, and I don't know how good. This right here is like, to me, this is me writing chalk just to be safe, to not eliminate a team that I don't know what's coming out. So I'm going Kansas here.
I'm going Kansas as well.
You're going.
I had Kansas. I switched to USC, and I looked back here. I do have Kansas advancing. So
Oh,
there was something, I don't know what it was, but I'm looking at my bracket right now. Something told me to put Kansas into the Sweet 16.
It's because the 6-11 game's so weird. Guys, if you're listening at home, I've won multiple brackets. I finished in the top 0.49% of ESPN brackets. I'm going to help you stay in your bracket. Listen to me. Just follow me here. I love picking upsets. People love picking upsets. People love picking games that no one sees. And like, I had Ohio, and that's great. That's awesome. The key is do not lose a Sweet 16 team. Do not lose an Elite 8 team. If you lose one of those teams, you're going to put yourself in a bad position. The reason I do so well in these brackets is because I take teams that I know are going to be in the second round because of first-round matchups. And that's why a lot of these games, like the Kansas versus USC, I think it's a bad matchup for them. I think USC could beat Kansas. I just don't think USC is going to win their first game. And I don't know who's going to win the 6-11, so I think if Kansas plays Wichita, and if you guys know that the whole rivalry with Kansas-Wichita, I think little big brother's going to beat up on little brother. But that's just my breakdown there. I just want to help you guys at home for your brackets. Just try not to go too insane, because if your Elite 8 team loses in the first round, you're kind of screwed in winning a bracket. You can throw that back up. Thank you. I got the full spotlight there for a minute.
Yeah, you got a little PSA.
I liked it. Okay. Virginia or Ohio? This is fun. Who's coming out of that mishmash of Ohio, Virginia, UC Santa Barbara, Creighton? We all have weird. I'm going to go Virginia, I guess. I don't know. I hate this 4, and I'm so glad Gonzaga gets to kick the crap out of them after this, but I hate this little 4. This is my worst patch.
I got Ohio over UC Santa Barbara, so I got
You
Ohio
have
going
Ohio,
back
your home
to
state,
the
in the
Sweet
Sweet 16. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. I love it.
I have Ohio as well.
Yes. Now, if Ohio loses round 1 to Virginia, we're in a little trouble there.
15
Okay.
of the right 16, Sweet 16. I mean, that's not the end of the world.
It's
I don't have
not.
Ohio winning the tournament, so
Yeah.
You sure?
we'll be okay.
He's got Ohio versus Cleveland State. Ohio State versus. Is there another MAC team in there? I'm just kidding. Kent State didn't make tournament. I'm kidding.
No.
All right. Gonzaga runs through Oklahoma or Missouri, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonzaga versus Ohio or Virginia or.
I'll be honest. I'll be curious if they get Oklahoma to watch, only because Oklahoma is very, very good defensively. Curious to see how efficient they are against them.
Oklahoma can't score, though, so I don't think
Oh
that
no,
game will be close.
no. Gonzaga absolutely wins that game, and whatever the spread is, they're probably going to cover it. But
He's looking for ways to pick against Gonzaga.
I'm not. What are they average a game?
Gonzaga?
89. Number 1 in the country.
Yeah, they'll be held significantly under that in that game.
Fair.
I think
They
it might,
score
it might be
72.
even
They
higher
still
than
win.
that.
I think it's 89.
They score a lot of points.
They do.
They're playing
I
high
think
school.
it's 89.
Yeah, they're playing,
It's
playing high
89
school
or
team.
91. I know.
92.
See,
That's what I
92.
thought it was higher. 92.
Good call. Gonzaga beats up on the mishmash of land of misfit toys that gets through there. Right?
Yeah.
We're good with
Gonzaga beats Ohio.
that. Okay.
Agreed.
And Gonzaga beats Virginia, Creighton, Ohio. Doesn't matter who you have. Iowa versus USC or Kansas.
I have Iowa.
Iowa over Kansas.
All right. So Iowa versus Gonzaga. The rematch of all rematches. 101-90. It seems so long ago.
Score's probably gonna be similar. Probably a little bit lower, and it's gonna be a closer. It's gonna be a closer game. But I have Gonzaga winning.
Iowa takes the cake in this one.
I knew you'd try to find a way to win the bet.
I said it last week with Ohio State and Michigan. It's tough to beat a good team multiple times in the same season. This is that matchup.
I have Iowa. I mean, I have Gonzaga beating Iowa, obviously. I've been on Gonzaga for a while now. So we don't have to – you can take the brackets down because we know we're going to pick our Final Four right now, and then we're going to get into GOAT bracket. We got a little bit time to do GOAT, little time to do GOAT. Final Four and finals. Give me your Final Four and your finals, Bill.
Well, Final Four, I have Michigan, Gonzaga, and Baylor and Illinois.
So who wins the game? Who's your finals?
My final is Gonzaga versus Illinois.
Whoa.
My final is Iowa versus Baylor.
My final is Gonzaga versus Illinois. I actually gave Illinois the respect they earned all year, finally. I watched them play that entire Big Ten tournament. They play strong, hard-nosed defense. They beat Iowa. They beat Ohio State.
Beat Michigan.
So hold on. Eric goes, I'm with Bill. Like, what, aren't you with me? We have the same final. Like, God damn it, Eric. I'm just kidding. Who's your champion?
My champion is Baylor Bears.
Yeah. I mean, we went in. Mine's Gonzaga. The only one that's a mystery right now is Bill, and I'm guessing he's picking Illinois because he's argued all year Gonzaga can't win, but they're in the finals now.
Again, I never said they couldn't get there. I said they wouldn't win. There's a difference. I am picking Illinois.
So Baylor, Gonzaga, Illinois.
So I had to look something up because I was curious on when the last time it happened. Do you guys know when the last time there was an undefeated national champion?
Year Indiana State won.
No.
What, do you know what year that? Do you know what year it was?
Is
I don't
that
know.
year?
I don't know what team. I don't know what team it was, but I have the year.
It's in the 70s, probably.
1975.
Okay, well then Bill's right then.
Yeah,
it
was.
I thought
it was Larry Bird's team.
Memphis lost in the finals.
Kansas.
Yeah, that's what it was. My God,
1975.
I'm pretty sure it's that Indiana State team.
Kevin still has Rutgers over Gonzaga. Even though they're in the same region.
God.
Kevin, I love you. You're such a troll. Kevin!
I'm just saying, history is not on your side in that one.
I don't need it to be.
I mean, they're trying to get it to happen with that cupcake bracket they gave.
I love it.
So.
Cupcakes. Give me cupcakes all day. So at least we know when Gonzaga makes the Final Four, I won't lose the bet. Because the bet is a wash if
they don't win. Yeah.
What is your bet exactly?
the bet's all right. So I have Gonzaga winning the tournament and Baylor. For me to win, Gonzaga's got to win the
they
tournament.
Wouldn't get there.
Correct. I have to have Gonzaga win the tournament and Baylor not make the Final Four.
Oh, it's Baylor?
No, it was Gonzaga.
I thought it was you bet them to win. He
Correct.
said they wouldn't get there. So if they get there and lose, it's a wash.
Correct.
Okay.
That's it. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
What did we bet on that? I forgot.
Nothing.
I thought no, you guys bet cheesesteak. I thought again.
I owe him a cheesesteak. Right?
So do I.
Let's go
When are we gonna go?
tomorrow. I'm kidding. All right, so we're
I
only going to
actually
do the
go
left
tomorrow.
side of the GOAT bracket tonight.
I'll do that tomorrow.
We're going to do 2 of the left side of GOAT bracket tonight, and then we're going to do the next side of GOAT bracket next week as we break down the tournaments. Mike, can you throw the GOAT bracket up for us right now? We have 2 debates to go on. We're going to do the left side. So last week, we've already eliminated Messi and Pablo Sanchez. So we have Michael Jordan versus Ronaldo tonight, and LeBron James versus 99 Wayne Gretzky. That are the 2 that we're going to debate tonight. Next week, we're going to do the final 2, the 2 on the other side. And then the final week, we'll do the final 4. Whatever, the final 2. Or final 4, that would be, actually.
Yeah.
So, Michael Jordan versus Ronaldo is a 1 versus an 8. Before we go forward on this, because I just have the weirdest feeling where it's going to go, even though we haven't discussed it. I want to say if you polled the world, Ronaldo's probably going to win this matchup.
Agreed.
But as far as greatness goes, and as far as the greatest of all time and what they're doing and and what they've done for their sport and whatever, it's got to be Michael. If I could be like Mike,
I would say, regardless of where you're polling, this is probably closer than people would like to admit that it is.
Yeah, correct.
Because when it's all said and done, he's probably going to be the best soccer player ever. When he hangs it up. I mean, so you're checking that box for both of them.
I don't think you're checking that box for Michael because LeBron could pass him. I don't think he did yet, but like if he wins two more championships, you got to admit that.
As we sit here now.
Correct.
They can both check that box. And he is every bit as big over in Europe and, you know, South America and those areas as Michael is here. It's still Michael Jordan for me, but it's very close.
So, Control, do you have Michael or do you have Ronaldo?
I got Mike.
Okay, so we all have Mike here.
Mm.
So Mike's a sweep. I don't want to waste too much time on that part. We down at the bottom, it should be pretty easy, in my opinion. We might even be able to do the right side right now.
You do the right side.
Because the great one over LeBron. Number 99, the greatest hockey player to touch skates.
It's not close for me.
No, not for me either. I know you're a Bron fan, but you got to admit this one.
I'm sticking consistent with what I said. To be on this and to win, you have to be the greatest in your sport. And
we'll get to the Final Four tonight then.
And LeBron is not there yet.
What do you got? Come on, I got to hear some more voice. More, give me more control. You didn't use the word count up.
I got Bron.
Are you picking Bron because you know Gretzky's going to win already?
Gretzky's going to win.
So that's why you're picking Bron. That's not really picking Bron.
No, I mean,
you can't make an argument for Bron over Gretzky.
If you,
I'll give you the craziest stat ever to just put this as meant for you. If Wayne Gretzky never scored a goal,
oh, you're stealing my stat,
and you just went off his assist, he would still be the leading scorer in the history of the NHL.
That was the highway robbery. I said that in the green room. Stole my stat. That's correct. Wayne Gretzky. Let's move to the right.
I mean, that's true, but at the same.
It's the same time you're a LeBron fan and you just don't want to.
No,
like,
I am.
You got all the people.
LeBron is he's the only top 10 player in points and assists. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but
so is Gretzky.
I like basketball more than I like hockey. I go LeBron.
All right, Gretzky moves on. Right side. This is the Olympian bracket. Simone Biles versus Michael Phelps. I think this one's easy too.
It is,
and I'll tell you why it's easy. Simone Biles can get there.
Yeah, but she's not there.
She's not there yet.
Nope.
Michael Phelps is the answer, right?
Sweep,
right?
Sweep.
Okay, so we have 3 of our Final Four. Here, this could be an argument here. Serena versus Brady. See, so first of all, they put this up on ESPN constantly, and they said what Serena has done in the game of tennis.
Goat.
What?
Like the GOAT versus GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Control, I'll start with you.
Before I give my answer, I will say that 15 years from now, those two will not be the GOATs of their sport.
Whoa. Serena will not be the GOAT of tennis?
Naomi Osaka.
I love Osaka. She's not even in the same. So what Serena did as far as dominating tennis.
Osaka's 20 years old.
Osaka is 20 years old, and right now there is no counterpart to her.
Serena can't beat her anymore. Osaka is what Serena was 15 years ago. She is.
Correct, but she's got to do it for 15 years.
That's what I said.
100% agree. 100% agree.
15 years from now.
I'm just saying his statement isn't wild. If she stays healthy and she stays with the game and wants to play, she can get there.
Serena overpowered people. Osaka does not.
But she wins though. She wins. That's what's important.
Wins.
She wins.
No, she's ball hard. She's ball hard. She
not
does.
like Serena did.
She's close. I think
she's beaten Serena
three times in a row in a Grand Slam.
Beating an older Serena is different than beating Serena.
But if Naomi wasn't,
that's like saying do you beat Michael Jordan's Wizards?
No, that's not what that's saying. Because if Naomi wasn't on tour, Serena would be winning these tournaments.
That's how good she is.
Yes, so it's not like Michael Jordan on the Wizards wasn't the number 2 player in the league.
Osaka's very good. Maybe it's Serena.
I'm just saying, a lot of people would hear what he said and be like, "That's insanity," and it's not.
Okay.
For somebody who watches a lot of tennis, she's insanely good.
So give me your pick then.
My pick would be Tom Brady.
Okay.
And it's tough to pick Tom, but I'd pick Tom.
I know it eats you alive that the best player ever went to Michigan. It's all right.
You're picking Tom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to go with Tom here. 7 NFL Super Bowls.
I'll tell you what it was
That's
for
an
me.
accomplishment that
Yes.
somebody just can't.
And that is, I'm glad you said it 'cause that's exactly why I would pick it. I'm not slighting anything Serena's done, but she beat the record that was one below her. There's nobody close to winning 7.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's one of those things if you would have told anybody 10 years ago that somebody was going to have 7 Super Bowl rings, they would have laughed to your face, and they would have had a good reason to do it.
How long ago did you say?
10 years ago.
No, maybe 25 years ago. Brady was 5 at that point.
Yeah, but you'd still be like, oh, my God.
You probably thought he would hit the cliff by now.
Yeah, he's going to – you're telling me he's going to play at 43 and go win another one for his 7th? You wouldn't believe that.
It's unbelievable. So we're setting up for next week of being an incredible Final Four. We got, and I don't even know how this wasn't a sweep on the bottom of the board, but we have Gretzky, who should have been a sweep. We have Michael Jordan, who was a sweep. We have Michael Phelps, who was a sweep. We have Tom Brady, who was a sweep. So the one we didn't get a sweep out of was Wayne Gretzky, and that's because Homer
was the GOAT. The
Homer.
GOAT didn't sweep anybody.
Homer pick.
So we have a great Final Four for you next week. That'll be what we discuss at the end of the show next week. We might even start the show with it because that Final Four is insanity.
I got a question for you guys really quick.
Good.
Who's going to be the best player in the NCAA tournament? On the spot.
Jalen Suggs. That's a good on-the-spot question because I was prepared for it, Control. Jalen Suggs makes his case to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft next year. Jalen Suggs.
I mean, I'm on record saying Suggs is going to be the better pro. The only reason I would slightly lean Cade would simply be because Suggs has a better supporting cast. He's not going to have to do as much. And I think they're going to kill people, and he's going to come out of the game. So I will lead. It's tough because
I don't think Oklahoma State plays more than 2 games.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to take Gonzaga.
No, dude, I just sat there and gave him all his credit. I'm just telling you why.
Go with Kofi.
No, I'm not going Kofi.
I love Kofi. I'm sorry.
I as much
can't shoot free throws to save his life.
You can't.
But he is an animal.
As much as I love to give Gonzaga crap, I do really like Jalen Suggs a lot.
Good player.
Great player.
I will go Jalen Suggs.
We got 2 for 2. Go ahead, pick somebody else.
I am going.
You don't ask the question without knowing.
I'm going with Ayo Dosunmu. He is. I loved his picture. I don't know if you guys saw it. Him being like Kobe in the locker room, holding the Big Ten championship trophy.
I'll tell you this: if that ends up being the championship game, I would say whichever team wins, those are the 2 players that are going to win it. So if it ends up Illinois versus Gonzaga, whoever wins the game, those are the 2 people that are going to win that award. So whoever teams win, that's who wins it.
Keith Sterninger, by the way, on the wire line said number 99 wins, hands down, lock it. I don't know, Keith. I mean, it's going. I'll tell you right now. I'm going to do a lot of research this week to make sure that I'm making the right decision on the show, and I'm sure that the 2 hosts on the shows will. I honestly, I don't want to give anything away, but I will tell you this. I think all 3 of us might have a different person that we think should win.
No, I'm pretty sure me and Bill are on the same page.
Yeah.
That means you guys discussed it.
We all did.
On the phone.
I mean, I didn't decide who's going to win.
You hedged your bet.
You did.
I mean, you didn't make it a secret.
But I tell you right now, that's a very good Final Four. And we're going to allow the championship to be voted on by the listeners, which will make it more fun. So that's what we got for today. Or you got to be kidding me. We're going to skip that for this week. We had so much bracket stuff, and I think as a whole, we'll give you a bunch from the first round of the tournament. We will go live from Chicky and Pete's, and I will give everyone their final word. Do you have a final word? I can see you just ready.
No, I was just going to say there's bound to be something that happens in the first round that will absolutely be brought up for probably. Are you kidding me?
That was my point.
Yeah. Between officiating, a bonehead play, or a terrible coaching decision, it's going to happen.
You want a final statement?
I do. I have one. I don't.
Do you want to go last? It's like an important one. It's not as good. It's not as good as last week's one.
No, but it's kind of close, and you'll definitely be okay with it.
Okay. So, Cottrell, you have a final one? I have a final statement. Not going to be as good as yours.
Yeah, probably not. Mine's not either. But I'm excited for the tournament, and go Bucks. About it.
I'm just going to make one statement. I want to put it on record right now if I can. I think when you have a lot of money in the NFL, you can make some things happen, and you can try to really disparage someone's character. And I want to go on record and defend Deshaun Watson now, because I think it's very ironic that the first bad thing that's ever come out about the man has been after he demanded a trade. Don't read too much into the stories that you're seeing. Make sure you get all the facts of everything. And like I said, I could be wrong. I don't want to.
You could be. I think the way you just worded it, I think, is a very fair and honest way to put it out there. The kid was nothing but a class act at Clemson. He's been nothing but a class act in Houston. So for the fact for that to come out, and for it to come out from a lawyer who is kind of, I don't want to say sleazy, but does things to get his name out there, and he lives next door to the owner. I mean, that kind of writes itself.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
So that's my final comment for this week. I just want to say, do not believe everything you read in headlines about Deshaun Watson. Yeah, Bill.
I'm just going to close by wishing Nick Brancato well.
Oh, yeah.
He was in a very unfortunate situation this weekend where he was hit by a car. The driver walked away. He had a second surgery today. I heard he's doing well. The Brancatos are, I know for me and you as well, the entire family, not just like one person. I'm very close with CJ, with Billy, with Bree, even Lauren.
Bree told me she didn't like you.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Bree loves me. But I'm, the show is wishing you well. I hope you get to go home soon and, start rehabbing at home with your family. And whoever the scumbag is that ran you over, I really hope sooner than later he has his day in court.
Yeah, you got to be a real piece of shit that runs somebody over and drive away.
Yeah.
That's your first thought, is to drive away.
Yeah. So for Nick, I hope you're feeling better. I know your surgery went well today. So hope you get home soon. And that's it. That's what I got.
That's a great finish to the show. The Brancato family is in all of our prayers. If you guys can get your brackets in, I know a lot of people said they were doing them. Send your brackets in now. Wire2Wire Sports Pod on Venmo. $10, nothing crazy. And the winner's going to get a jersey and a Wire2Wire Sports hoodie. So without further ado, we'll see you guys Friday as we go live from Chicky and Pete's in Warrington. Go. Have a good one.